I'm Keith Camhi, Managing Director of the Techstars Healthcare Accelerator, powered by Permanente Medicine Mid-Atlantic States. And I'm joined by two distinguished leaders from Permanente Medicine, Dr. Richard McCarthy and Jessica Locke, and we'll do some intros in just a moment. But first, just one slide about who this program is targeted to. It is for visionary entrepreneurs who are meaningfully transforming healthcare delivery, making it more accessible, personalized, and efficient. And we are seeking solutions that could thrive in a value-based environment to enhance patient outcomes, reduce costs, and improve care experiences across diverse populations. I should also note that we did a version of this info session in AMA last week. So if you were on that one, this content is going to be largely redundant to that. The Q&A might be a little bit different, but if you were on that, you might not find this one to have much new information for you. And then we also had yesterday a thought leader panel, and that one was different. If you weren't able to join for that, we'll have a recording of that on the website probably by Monday. So with that, I am pleased to introduce the panel here. And if Dr. McCarthy, if we can ask you to introduce yourself first.
So I'm Rich McCarthy. I'm a neurologist, and I've been a Permanente physician since 1997. Hard to believe. Feels like a few years ago. And in 2000, so just to give some background, Kaiser Permanente is an advertising moniker. There's two companies. There's Kaiser Foundation Health Plan and Hospitals, which is an insurance company. And then there's Permanente Medical Groups, which are responsible for care delivery in a capitated way. And so there are 8 medical groups. I began in Northern California, and then Northern California affiliated with the Mid-Atlantic in 2009. And I was one of the physicians in chief here, and now I'm the executive medical director for the Permanente Medical Group in the Mid-Atlantic.
Terrific. And Jessica.
Thank you so much. Dr. McCarthy, I'm Jessica Locke. I'm Chief of Staff and Head of Strategic Innovations at the Mid-Atlantic Permanente Medical Group. With nearly 2 decades at Permanente Medicine, I work alongside trailblazers such as yourself, as well as within Kaiser Permanente, to drive innovations that enhance value-based care. On a more personal note, as a family member of a cancer survivor, I've seen firsthand the power of value-based care. That experience has really fueled my passion over the years for leveraging innovation and augmented intelligence to transform healthcare. So I'm really thrilled to be here today and to discuss this exciting new program with all of you, and looking forward to the rest of the discussion this morning. Back over to you, Keith.
Terrific, thanks. And I'm as I mentioned, I'm Keith Camhi. I'm Managing Director of the program on the Techstars side. And by way of background, I joined Techstars about 7 years ago, and I first led our accelerator platform globally for Techstars. So I was traveling around the world to our various ecosystems, meeting with partners on our program, hiring the MDs who are doing the role that I'm doing today, and generally overseeing a thriving entrepreneur ecosystem and getting to see how powerful these accelerators can be. My favorite days in that role, however, was when I was mentoring the companies in the class as I was traveling around. And so about 4 years ago, I left the dean's office for the classroom and started managing programs directly myself, including our Future of Longevity program with Melinda Gates's Pivotal Ventures and the Economic Mobility program in New York, and some programs with JP Morgan in New York and DC. And we're now just launching this one, and I was thrilled to have the opportunity to jump in and become the MD of this program, because I think it is going to be extraordinarily powerful for companies who are able to engage the combination of what Techstars has to offer, and combining that with the benefit of a collaborating partner at the leading edge of healthcare innovation, and able to work with companies that are in the program provides a double benefit for any company that's part of it. So I'm excited about being here. By my own personal background, I'm an engineer by training, computer science and electrical, and had been a founder for most of my career before Techstars. I've been part of 4 startups, 2 of which I was the CEO and founder of, one that raised about $50 million in venture capital and reached number 20 on the Deloitte Fast 500. And another was a franchise rollout where we were a 3-time franchise 500 company. So point being, I've been in your seat before. I know how hard it is to be a founder and start a company and the support that a founder needs along the way, and how you can save a lot of time through mentorship by avoiding some potential dead ends and picking a path that might lead to faster, better success. So with that background and the background on us, agenda for today is to give you a brief overview of Techstars, an overview of Permanente Medicine as an organization, and then dive into the program a little more specifically, how our accelerators work, how the addition of Permanente Medicine into this opens new opportunities with them. And then I will also mention, not to bury one of the leads about what's going on right now for our fall programs, is Techstars has improved its investment deal, which you might have heard of. There's more about that on the website, but we've increased the amount to $220,000 and done it on better terms. So I'll mention that, but we won't spend a lot of time on it because there's more on that on the website. We'll finish talking about the application and selection process and then open it up to questions. So let me jump in first. So we'll cover about our organizations broadly, and I'll lead with Techstars, and then Dr. McCarthy will cover Permanente Medicine Mid-Atlantic States. Techstars, those of us who are here, we're motivated by a simple mission, which is to help entrepreneurs succeed. That's what brings people like me, who would not have considered going and working at a company again after being an entrepreneur most of our lives, to want to work at a place like this, because it has a mission that's near and dear to our hearts. And it gets thousands of mentors to want to engage with us on a volunteer basis to come work with great companies like yourselves who are making a real change. And we do it ultimately because we believe that entrepreneurs can change the world, because entrepreneurs are the crazy ones, as Steve Jobs put in his commercial, but the crazy ones who are the overachievers, who are answering a calling to make a difference and creating something they think the world needs, or fixing something they think is broken. And the impact can be huge, given the challenges in healthcare in particular. But starting a startup is hard and risky, and there are a lot more ways to fail than succeed. As you know, it takes a lot of hours for no pay, and there are a lot more ways to fail than succeed. So with that, Techstars started as an experiment in Boulder, Colorado, a couple decades ago now. And the idea was that even though every startup is different, they do face some common challenges. And that the opportunity then is by surrounding a startup by a collection of mentors, a combination of mentors, some of whom have been through the drill of startup journey before and know the types of pitfalls and roadblocks you might hit, and others who are subject matter experts in your particular market, technology, go-to-market, that combination, and surrounding a startup with that for an intensive few-month period can help you chart a better, faster path to avoid some of the more common mistakes that are avoidable that we've all made along the way. Needless to say, that experiment worked out, and the modest experiment in Boulder has now been run over 400 times. It'll be run another 31 times this year. Nearly 5,000 companies have been through the programs. They've gone on to raise $29 billion and have a cumulative market cap of over $100 billion. 500 have exited, including 21 of them worth $1 billion or more already. And we love those last few stats just to highlight that not only do we love the companies that are getting into these programs, but third-party investors are voting with their wallets to say they think they're pretty valuable as well. The core of what the Techstars model is, hasn't materially changed in 18 years. It's at the local level. We take 10 companies into a program, provide an intensive 3-month acceleration program. The content's evolved, and it gets better each time. But that idea of an intensive boot camp with 10 companies working with peers and surrounded by mentors and great content can help make 2 years of progress in 3 months, by avoiding dead ends and not going down a go-to-market that might cost you a year or something like that. And from my own experience, not having a Techstars program, I, even in a successful company that went on to raise a lot of capital, did lose a whole year going down a go-to-market strategy that was probably avoidable if I had spoken with enough mentors who knew that category. What has changed over the years, though, is just the scale and scope of what happens. So in addition to the local accelerator experience that you'll get surrounded by mentors, partner, and so on, it's now an interconnected global network with 30 other accelerators running around the world at the same time, giving us access into this distributed network for your contacts into other ecosystems. Lots of alumni to interact with. Nearly 20,000 people have co-invested into a Techstars company. So we have a wide network of investors, a lot of mentors, not just within a program, but across the world, community events, and then partners who are, high-level relationships like running an accelerator with us, but then also a lot of people providing perks and other opportunities for companies. The second thing that's changed is the collaboration in so-called partner accelerators, which this is one of. That addition was made in 2013, with the first few of those being with Disney, Nike, and Microsoft, and that helps add a whole other layer of benefit to companies in a particular program. And as I said, for this one, that is the case, and we have an extraordinary opportunity for anyone working in healthcare to also be able to collaborate with Permanente Medicine. So with that, let me turn it over to Dr. McCarthy to say a little more about Permanente Medicine and the collaboration in this program.
Great. So next slide. So a little bit about Permanente Medicine. I told you that we're the P of the KP, we're in the Mid-Atlantic, so we cover about 800,000 patients from north of Baltimore all the way down to close to Richmond, including Washington, D.C. and Baltimore metropolitan area. So we have a very diverse membership, and we have about 35 medical centers. We have about 1,800, more than 1,800 physicians, 65 service lines. It's a closed, capitated network, which takes care of folks who buy Kaiser Foundation health plan insurance. And we don't own hospitals, but we partner with hospitals and provide Permanente inpatient care with our own hospitalists, specialists, anesthesiologists, et cetera. And the way we're different is that we are not fee for service. So we don't measure RVUs. We are not good at, nor do we pay attention to billing. Basically, within our system, we rely on a lot of data to offer value. We are the founders of value-based care from 75 years ago. And the way we define value is very patient-centric, which is creating differentiated quality outcomes for patients. That's number one. Creating a differentiated experience, which translates into access and service culture for patients and for physicians and other healthcare providers to be able to attract and retain the best healthcare providers. At the same time, we look at the total cost of care in a way that's very different from fee-for-service. So the fact that we're prepaid, next slide, allows us to innovate in ways that really fee-for-service can't. So we are never stopping an idea or a small test of change because we can't bill for it and we can't make money. So we are basically, I negotiate with the health plan for about a $1.1 billion budget every year that pays for 1,800 physicians and a pretty big administrative staff that offers a lot of support for us because in order to innovate effectively, you need lots of data. And so one of the things that we are really excellent at is measuring operational outcomes and tracking physician performance, tracking outcomes and quality, tracking patient satisfaction, and tracking the total cost of care. And our goal is through this different venue, prepaid, innovative, data-driven care to really create a differentiated experience for our physicians and our patients. Next slide. So I think the advantages for folks who are interested in working with us is that we're not limited by billing rules. So we're not limited by we're not limited by, oh, can't bill for that, not going to make money doing that, therefore we're not going to move forward. And we also have pretty incredible both machine learning and other analytic support to help us go right and go left. And we're founded on really deep principles of innovation. The best solutions that we've developed in the history of Permanente Medicine have been from folks doing the work who have found the space and the support within our system to create things like e-visits, which is something where our patients can answer for simple problems, answer a few questions, and get COVID tests, get COVID treatment, get a urinalysis, have their back pain evaluated and triaged in terms of where they need to go. It's efficient, effective, cost-effective, and highly patient satisfying. We have, and Jessica Locke manages this with Dr. Michael Stone, a really aggressive process here where we engage frontline physicians and staff in innovation and offer support for small tests of change. So we're highly data-driven. We're the founders of value-based care. And for folks that are interested in helping us move the curve in quality of care, move the curve in physician or healthcare professional sustainability, help move the curve in terms of patient satisfaction, or help move the curve in the most important problem I think American medicine faces, which is total cost of care. I think it's a great opportunity, and we're really excited about partnering with Techstars to kind of understand from an outside perspective where the best thinkers are, where the movement is going to be that's going to really drive the future of healthcare, and hopefully someday create healthcare that's accessible, affordable, high quality in this country, because we want to be that solution. It's easier said than done, and it's a highly regulated environment, as you probably know, but it's certainly fun trying. So I'm really excited by the interest in working with Permanente. I've obviously drank the Kool-Aid, but I'm a real believer in our model of innovation and in value-based care. And I think it's a unique opportunity because of how we're set up for folks who really are interested in moving the curve in American medicine. So Keith, I don't know if there's any more slides. I don't.
There are a few more, but you.
Okay. We can move on and go to the next part.
Get some great stats.
Oh, one. I just want to this is important actually. So this is just our bragging rights. So the National Committee for Quality Assurance measures objective outcomes in quality. Sadly, no one pays attention to it except healthcare professionals. It's too bad. Most patients do less research purchasing insurance than they do purchasing a car, to their detriment, sadly. But when we look at like NCQA results, Mid-Atlantic Permanente Medical Group is one of 1 to 3 of over 2,000 delivery systems in the country that score 5 stars in publicly reported quality. And we are really proud that our patients live 6 years longer than the community. Published results. African Americans live 8 years longer because we really work on bias and healthcare disparities. And our patients with lung cancer, colon cancer, and breast cancer have significantly lower mortalities, between 20 and 40% compared to the community. Because when you look at a huge national database through National Surgical Quality Improvement Program, which we're a part of, biggest surgical database in the world, our patients are diagnosed at stage 1 cancers over 50% more than the community because of our commitment to screening. And the other reason our patients live longer is because we have evidence-based teams that make sure that everyone gets the same care that's evidence-based. So, for example, in terms of low-dose lung cancer screening, we're one of the only systems that has a mechanized way of making sure that people that do need low-dose lung cancer screening because of a history of cigarette smoking get it. When they get their low-dose lung screening, which happens almost automatically from our system, It's reviewed by a team of pulmonologists, interventional radiologists, and thoracic surgeons to decide what the right next step is. So it's not one physician deciding biopsy, follow-up, chest x-ray, et cetera, or no follow-up needed until the next screening. It's a team of physicians that really give both physicians and patients true survival advantage compared to our community. So it's an exciting place. I think we have a long way to go in all these areas, like everyone does: quality of care, sustainability of medical practice, and total cost of care and patient satisfaction. But we're really excited to work with you, and we totally believe what Keith said earlier, that entrepreneurs change the world, and innovation will save American healthcare. So our job is to curate the best and figure out how to move forward, because the country really needs this probably more than anything else, given our demographic crisis of aging population and not enough money to pay for healthcare.
Phenomenal. Yeah, no, you can see why I get excited about working on a program like this, where we have this, additional layer of a provider and value-based care, where a solution, a startup solution, can really thrive, where you're not focused on a fee for service and what billing codes you're going to work on. In fact, we have a joint article that we're working on to put out about that very topic, and why it's so valuable to start a company and take root in a value-based care system like this, where the incentives aren't going to be chasing you in the wrong direction. But thank you for that overview. And you already talked about how technology solutions play a role in it. So with that, we'll go a little tactical now over the accelerator. I'm just going to mention also, we have apparently the Q&A button is not, in fact, part of the Zoom links at the bottom of your screen, which I advertised at the beginning. So go ahead and use chat for questions, and Vance will go get them off of there. And then I'll also invite you, and I'll mention this at the end as well, that we obviously won't have time for all the questions that are going to come in. We'll try to group them. We'll try to put some in an FAQ on the website after. But if you have something that doesn't get responded to, we have a program email address that Vance and I take a look at, but it's healthcare DC. So the word healthcare, then the initials DC, like Washington, DC, at techstars.com. So if you have a question that doesn't get answered today and you're wondering more before you apply, feel free to send something over to that, and we'll try to get back to you there. But with that, let's jump into the accelerator and what to expect if you do join, both from Techstars, and then Jessica will share a little more about how Permanente Medicine and the physicians there might engage with you as well, in addition to a typical Techstars program. So a general overview of a Techstars program, and then each one's a little different depending in part on the managing director, on the shape of the program, what the focus is. But the overarching flow of a Techstars program is that we spend the beginning part helping you think about the strategy of the business and refocusing it. It is the counterintuitive concept of slow down to speed up as a startup. There's never time to do this as a startup. You're running 100 miles an hour. However, if you keep running 100 miles an hour against the wrong go-to-market strategy, or against a tech stack that's not the right one, or against a founding team that's missing a member or something like that, it might not get you to the goal. And so we take week one in an intensive series of workshops where we'll spend a few days going all the way from broad vision, what you hope to accomplish in the world, what the ultimate outcome is going to look like, what your next major milestones are that could be fundable, and how you're going to get there, and get it all the way down to tactical execution. Try to draft that together in a standard strategic planning sort of methodology, and then spend a couple days just on how to talk about that. So we draft your investment memo, and start talking about how you would even pitch that business, and then we make that specific to the program. So there'll be some healthcare specific workshops in there, and some content from Permanente Medicine as well, on how you can look to do work with them. The next 2 weeks after that, so weeks 2 and 3, we call Mentor Madness, and that's where we subject your strategy to a series of meetings, and we'll surround the program by 100 some odd mentors, including startup experts who've been affiliated with Techstars, and physician experts, subject matter experts from Permanente Medicine. Each company will meet with several dozen of them that are curated to you. But just that walk through this strategy over and over again, and really start fine tuning it. And pivots happen within this amount of time. So you get a lot of feedback, sometimes conflicting. We try to sort it out with you, and you try to refocus the business over a course of a few weeks. The second thing that happens in that period is you try to identify a handful of mentors, 4 or 5 of them who will be your so-called lead mentors, who will work with you on a one-on-one basis over the course of the remainder of the program. So some kind of advisory board that you put together of business and medical expertise. Then we go into build and grow. We never want to slow down the business other than this very initial part where you're getting some feedback. And so in parallel with building and growing the business, we'll have a weekly cadence to the program of working, working with peers and mentors and others. And I'll show you what that looks like. And we culminate in investor readiness and a demo day where you do a stage presentation of your business in early December. A typical week in the life of the rest of the program after that beginning few weeks is there's a lot of office hours with experts and mentors, one-on-ones with myself, expert workshops coming in. We bring in founders and investors to pull back the curtain and tell you the inside story in non-recorded session, and really kind of share their insights. KPI sessions where we got group accountability, pitch practice, a lot of work, and some peer forums. So it's a rigorous program, and I run a fairly rigorous program as well. So this they call, they refer to mine as the AP class. So we'll be intensive and make a lot of progress in a short period of time. So it's not for the faint of heart, but if you really want to push along a startup, I think it can be quite valuable. Working with mentors is our secret sauce. A lot of startup knowledge is available online, and you can go take Startup 101 in books and online. And if you've several startups before, you already know this stuff. But we've also had a fair amount of success. There we go. We got a book in the chat. Thank you. And I've had serial entrepreneurs in my programs before, including a professor of entrepreneurship was once in my class. So why, when startup knowledge is available, why is this still valuable? It's because of the opportunity to compress the access to curated mentorship and a group of people who want to help you on the journey in a peer group. And this is one of our unicorn alumni talking about mentorship being the number one piece of this. So it is a unique experience and opportunity. The demo day is not the end of the experience with Techstars. It's not just 3 months and done. Demo day is the beginning of the rest of your life with Techstars. We say Techstars is for life, and we're here to help. We stay in touch with our alums, and we do that both one-on-one with your program teams, but then also one-to-many and across our network with business development days, investor days, and chapters. We are, for instance, starting a vertical network program in healthcare as one of our 4 major pillars, with about 1 in 6 alumni being a healthcare-related company in Techstars. I mentioned our new deal terms. I won't spend a lot of time on this. Go read more about it on the website. But if you're familiar with our old deal, this is almost twice the money on better terms. That's the headline. And those terms include that our note is now uncapped. So we have an MFN uncapped safe for $200,000. So basically the deal with Techstars is consider the program and access to us and everything that comes along with it to be the cost of all of that, the 3-month accelerator, the free office space, the ongoing access, the networks, all of that is 5% common stock. So we sit side by side with you on the cap table, getting diluted with you as founders, no liquidation preference on that, so that we're aligned with you for life of the company. In addition, $200,000, and that comes with $20,000 spending money for the program as well. Separately, you get automatically $200,000 uncapped MFN safe, which will just be valued at whatever your future rounds are. So that is going to be now friendly to whatever investment is coming in the future. So whether you're at a seed stage or never raised before, will match to whatever you get next. So much more attractive terms. Again, read more about that on the on the webpage. And then finally, along with all of this is a lot of perks. We're now 250 perks valued at over $4 million, all sorts of different suppliers. Whether it be posting credits or whatever else, there's a lot of value baked into this. Let me though, again, doubling the value is when we have the opportunity to work with a collaborator on a program like this. So let me let Jessica say a little bit more about what Permanente will be doing with all of the companies as well.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Keith. So before diving into the specifics of engagement, I want to take a moment to just double click on this unique opportunity. I know you heard a lot about it from Keith and Dr. McCarthy, but what makes this program truly different is where it sits. It's at the unique intersection of healthcare delivery as well as startup innovation. It's not just about ideas in isolation, but it's about transferring care at scale. As we know and heard from Dr. McCarthy, healthcare is undergoing meaningful transformation. Rapid advances in innovation, a growing emphasis on preventative care, and expanding technology in everyday practice. These shifts are ultimately reshaping how care is delivered and how healthcare professionals support patients. So at this pivotal moment, and again, as we heard, this program offers founders a unique dual advantage: the backing of a top-tier accelerator from Techstars, combined with Permanente Medicine, a system that is truly renowned for its clinical rigor and operational excellence. I too have drank the Kool-Aid. That means that founders get deep mentorship, strategic insight, and a real-time market context from leaders who've done the work. So why, again, Permanente Medicine? Permanente Medicine is uniquely positioned. It's a physician-led medical group. We operate in a value-based model, so our incentives are aligned with outcomes, not volume, not RVUs. That alignment makes us ideal collaborators for innovations that improve care and lower costs. We have 4 critical advantages. Again, you heard about our value-based model. Our incentives are aligned with outcomes, making it easier to test solutions that truly work. Our industry influence: if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. A unified, scalable structure. Success doesn't, stall at the pilot phase. We really work with you in order to talk about what expansion and future success looks like. And then we have a committed leadership team. We actively are seeking innovations that elevate patient care and also improve our physician experience. So the outcome is truly powerful. Startups gain real-world traction and patients get access to next-generation care. This isn't just innovation for innovation's sake. It's innovations with purpose, with scale, and with impact. So what is our commitment to founders? We don't just invite startups to the table, we collaborate with them deeply. We do this even before we started this accelerator, right? So we have experience in this space of working really closely with different startup companies, but this is a truly unique opportunity. We're ultimately committed to your success, offering unparalleled support throughout this program. So what does that mean? It means that founders will receive tailored guidance from experts who understand healthcare's complexities. Again, as you heard, we have over 2,000 clinicians, data scientists, operational leaders, and quality and technology specialists who can work with you side by side in order to really shape your product, your service, into something that is grounded in real-world health system priorities and realities. Also, real-world testing. Through collaborative pilots and proof of concepts, founders can see how your solutions perform in large integrated delivery systems with real user feedback, clinical insights, and measurable impact. We help refine and validate and build credibility where it counts. Well, we're also transparent. Not every startup will end up with a contract or system-wide deployment, but we are looking for solutions with scale in mind. So as we're going through the application process and reviewing all of the founders that are interested in working with us, we have a keen eye to startups that we know will work within our system and the overall healthcare ecosystem, and that we're ultimately going to want to pilot or to have a proof of concept. So for all startups, we promise an insight-rich environment that we respect your time, product, and vision, helping you navigate, again, healthcare's very complex system. So in closing, for my portion, we're here to accelerate what works, challenge what doesn't, and scale solutions that truly move the needle. That's our commitment to you. That's our commitment to our patients that we serve and the community. I'll turn it back over to you, Keith.
Wonderful, thank you. And again, for those of you who might be newer to Techstars, this is Techstars programs. I've been here for a while. I think they're all terrific. This adds a whole other layer. So this is unique. I'm very excited about this collaboration. Let me tell you a little bit about the application and selection process as well, because I know that'll be an area of questions if I don't otherwise cover it proactively. And then we'll get Vance on to ask the most common questions from the audience. And then again, I'll offer up that email address if your question's not covered. So application and selection process, a few things to know. Key dates. Applications are open now. The Apply Now link is on the top of the web page. Go ahead and do that. It shouldn't take too long. There are a couple opportunities to add videos in the deck. Those are valuable to us. Don't make the videos long. It's just, we'll watch, the first minute of each one. One's about the product, one's about your team. Just, a minute is good. We might get further, but don't send in 10 minutes. We got a lot of applications. So it's just to get to know you briefly. For those, this is not published on the website, but we have an early action deadline of May 15th, well, in addition to the June 11th deadline. June 11th is the final deadline. That's fine to get your app in by then. But if you can get it in by the 19th, we're going to start reading then. And we'll have more time to read your app if you get it in by then, because there's always a rush of apps at the end. So for those of you who are being diligent and are getting to the calls early like this, you have an opportunity to get noticed before the rush. The selection process will then begin upon that May 19th date all the way through mid-July with a series of interviews, and then our final offer notifications will be in July. The program starts in early September and then ends the first week of December. Our selection process starts with an application review and then the series of interviews where we'll start taking fewer companies through each stage as we get a little further. If your app is selected for interview, we'll send out another video telling you exactly what to expect in the interviews, so you can come in prepared for those, but we'll cover a few different things in each one. The overarching thing we're looking for in any Techstars program, we say we have 6 criteria. The first 3 are team. At an early stage of a business, it's all about the people building it. The single most important factor, and we're looking for strong vision, strong executors who have the skills on the team to get this done and are passionately motivated to solve the problem. I'll note that the idea is on the list as well, but we put that last. It's important. It's on the list of 6, but it's last because ideas pivot. So your specific solution approach might pivot, and in fact, it could pivot in program and tweak a little bit. But the team is the team focused on the problem. How big is your market, and what problem are you solving? And what team is doing it is more relevant to us. So if you've got great credentials to be working in healthcare and you're tackling a big problem, make sure that's very clear right from the start. And we want to see some early progress. So the easy way to show progress is that you've got nice revenue growing up and to the right. If you have that, make sure that's really clear. Often it's that might not always be the case, and you could still get in if you're pre-revenue, but show that you're making measurable progress towards customers wanting what you're buying and what we will be selling in some way, and that there's some reason that you're not at revenue yet. Maybe you have to get manufactured first, or there's regulatory approvals that have to happen or something like that. And that is the main set of things to make sure to highlight nice and crisp and clear. The other thing that really goes well in an application is just clarity. We do get a fair number of these, so just to make it be easy to figure out what you're actually working on, as opposed to being too general and sweeping. Just kind of tell us, for whom are you solving what problem, and how are you going about it, is a very simple way frame it. And so with that, we'll open it up. Actually, I'm going to say one more thing, and to just preempt the question I regularly get as well is kind of is this program right for me? Is this the program for me? And I'll say that, generally, I think Techstars programs are right for a lot of companies that are in early stage, hoping to accomplish big things. Like, it's not for a lifestyle business or something like that. But if you're trying to go on to make something material, a Techstars program generally could be. This program in particular can be of interest even to a little bit later stage company that might otherwise consider a Techstars program for a few reasons. One is, well, the new deal that Techstars has is now making it friendly to even if you've raised a fair amount of capital and are in the process of raising even a seed round. Investors won't find it dilutive to them on the uncapped safe. The other reason I tend to get a little later stage company in my programs is, again, I do, and this is fair warning, I do run a rigorous program. I want to make sure anyone coming in is getting the full value of all the great workshops that we've done. I've spent several years traveling around the world with Techstars, pulling together our best of the best, and I'll deliver all of it. So it is the AP version of the class, as I said. And finally, when we have a partner and collaborator like this involved in a program, there's a whole other level of access where you might be trying to get access to get a POC or pilot. So we do tend to see a little bit later stage company. And so that is this program right for me? Don't hesitate just because you think like, I might be past an accelerator stage. I think it can be quite valuable for that too. All right, there's more on the website, and I'll ask Vance to come on and go take over the questions, and we'll take it from there.
Awesome. Thanks, Keith. We've had a bunch of really great questions coming in. Feel free to keep putting them in, but we do have, a bit less than 15 minutes left on the call, so we won't have time to get to everything. I'm going to try to group them so that we cover, the basics of what you all have been asking. To kick off, Jessica and Dr. McCarthy, I'm curious what startups you guys have worked with in the past and how the value-based model positions you to pilot projects and work with startups.
So I'll take that while Dr. McCarthy is getting off of mute. So I think we assess any startup company the same way that we assess any internal idea from our physicians and administrative staff professionals. We're really looking for value in terms of quality, patient experience, physician experience over cost. So we look at which ideas, which products, right, will ultimately have a positive impact on one or more areas of our value equation. And it really is all within it balance, right? We don't want to do something all within the sake of cost that would have a detriment to quality. So we take that value equation and we figure out, does it add value to those that we serve? And then I think the other piece is just feasibility, right? Is it a strategic priority? Is it technically feasible? Those are some of the other things that we look at. So I think, again, the same way that we look at, our internal kind of ideas, we're really looking at for the founders that we work with, ultimately to solve like really big problems that we have here within our system, as well as within other healthcare systems.
Yeah, and just for practical examples, we work with a lot of outside companies. The most recent one comes to mind is Glass AI. We have a digital repository of physician documentation support that offers everything from guideline recommendations to patient after visit summary that's curated by a dedicated group of physicians, and Glass AI has an AI platform to offer AI support. And so we're trying to combine both into a product that we could sell in the urgent care space. What I think is fun about working with folks from the outside is we're all dealing with the same issues and problems in healthcare. And I think, at least in our collaboration with outside companies in the past, it really kind of opens our eyes to solutions that we may not have been aware of internally. And as Jessica said, we're really interested in changing outcomes. So if your startup is a unique way of billing, probably we're not the best best partner for you. But if your startup is in changing outcomes and quality of care, changing outcomes and sustainability of practice, patient experience, or total cost of care, we're all ears. And that's where I think, and the other thing that Jessica mentioned as well, just reiterate, is that a lot of the input you need is, some of it's from clinical mentors who are in the space, and either clinicians, expert clinicians, understand the real problems that need to be solved. But what's also necessary is a lot of support in terms of data. Are you actually delivering a change? And if so, how much? And I think that one of the things that we're really lucky here in the Mid-Atlantic is that we have amazing analytic support. So we're really able to measure change or not measure change, to be able to move quickly. And I think that's, apart from the clinical perspective, the unique value-based perspective we have, I think the analytic support that we can offer is a real advantage.
Awesome, great. Keith, a couple rapid fire questions for you about the program being in person, how that usually works with accommodation, how that works with teams that are distributed. So do all the founders have to be in person? Can some of them be remote? And yeah, also like if they are coming from abroad, questions around visa. So if you could just wrap those up into an answer.
All right, rapid fire answer is that yes, it is an in-person program, which are the most valuable kind, because you'll benefit from being in proximity to the peers and the Permanente Medicine team and so forth. We'll run mainly Mondays through Thursdays. So if you need to get out of town, Friday's usually the day. First week and last week, we'll probably have programming on Fridays. So yeah, you'll find your own accommodations locally. We and you know, there's within the $20,000 that kind of part of the core investment. We that consider that kind of your spending money for the program, but that's part of the investment. So in any event, you get some kind of budget there for figuring out who can be there. It is important for certainly the core founders who are would benefit from the program. Being in person is really quite helpful. We do require at a minimum that the CEO make a commitment to being here. If additional co-founders being here, in my past experience, companies that have that make a lot more progress. So I would encourage you to do that. But let's talk if there's a particular situation where one would be local and one wouldn't. Visas, we have a standard Techstars letter in support of getting a visa. You're responsible for getting your own visa, but we have a letter that helps support that process with whatever office you need to do that with.
Great. Again, just reach out to us at healthcaredc@techstars.com for any questions we didn't get to. We're happy to answer them and forward them along to the Kaiser team as well. As a last question for today's panel, Dr. McCarthy and Jessica, I'm curious, if you had a crystal ball, what do you see as the future vision of healthcare? And what problems would you really love to see startups addressing?
So I hope I'm correct. I think a future world of healthcare is technology making healthcare more accessible and affordable, and technology helping support physicians' intellectual burden so that they can emotionally connect with their patients. I think that's one of the most important things that physicians do. And the promise of AI and decision support is immense, as well as like technical support. So I think there's a sustainability of practice and a focus less on intellectual pursuit and more on emotional engagement of patients that I'd be optimistic to see. In terms of the biggest challenge in healthcare is the total cost of care. And we have like incredibly effective, incredibly expensive treatments moving forward. And my hope is that we don't end up in a world of the have and the have-nots, even more so than now, where the cure for Alzheimer's will only be had by folks with the money to pay for it, and everyone else will die of Alzheimer's. I hope that's not the case, but it's going to create a lot of pressure for efficiency, less capital spending, how to do things more effectively. And I think the biggest group that we have to figure out how to take care of are the aging population. So 10,000 people a day are turning 65. There is nowhere near the healthcare or supportive care resources necessary to take care of the biggest growing part of our population. And so I think some of the most, in terms of categories, some of the most important solutions that'll have to be brought forward are, how are we going to do that? How are we going to, with a shortage of physicians, nurses, a shortage of folks who are going to provide custodial care to an aging population, how are we going to provide the care that we want to? And I think someone's going to come up with an answer, and I hope it's us.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think Dr. McCarthy said it really well. You know, I think that for this accelerator, it's our first year. I saw some questions in the chat, you know, regarding, you know, are we looking for specific founders in a particular space like cardiovascular or something else? We're being really intentional, and we're casting a wide net, right? We know what the challenges are within healthcare, but we're really looking at the community to figure out solutions, you know, in a number of spaces within that, right? So, you know, Dr. McCarthy spoke to a lot of those. We're looking at, you know, advanced care at home that hopefully you heard about yesterday, you know, on the panel, population health, how can we keep our patients, no matter where they are in life, just healthier and happier. So again, we're really being intentional, and we're trying to find as many solutions as possible to solve some of these incredibly complex challenges that we have today, as well as those that we're going to have 5 to 10 years from now.
Phenomenal. Just a couple closing administrative items then, and thank you so much, Dr. McCarthy, Jessica, for joining me on this. This is again, I keep saying it, but I've been here for a while. I've gotten to run some phenomenal programs. This is going to be pretty special. So you've got two organizations working for companies that could value from it. So I'm looking forward to running this. A few things to keep an eye on if you are interested in applying. Our webpage is #1. Go there. You can always search as Techstars Permanente. It'll come up probably as the first link, and the link's been dropped in the chat. Also, I'd encourage you, from that website, all these other links are available, but follow our LinkedIn page as well. We'll post whenever we have something coming up, like if we add another information session or another thought leader panel or something like that, we'll post it on our LinkedIn page. That's a great thing to follow. And then as Vance mentioned, he'll be kind of monitoring the healthcare dc@techstars.com email address. So you can hit your many unanswered questions that came up today. You can hit us there for that. And also on the website, you'll be able to find a link to the Permanente Medicine Institutes and Specialties. I think that's the name of the link, to that page, where over 60 specialties are listed. So if you're trying to find out, hey, do you focus on my area of what I'm working on in healthcare? If you can find that specialty and drill down on it in there, you might find that they do. But that could be a way to get a little more information on whether your area of solution is even kind of covered. So with that, I think we're at time. So I'll leave it there. And thank you again so much for joining us. It's great to see you here, and I'm glad to see so many entrepreneurs working on helping solve this healthcare system, because we need you. So thank you.
Thanks, Keith. Really excited about the partnership.